Friends, good evening. Welcome everyone to our first Chamber Lecture Series. And tonight we continue with our seminar on elemental therapy. We have spoken thus far about faculties of medicine. We have spoken about the powers of the masters. We have even gone down the path of covering the 5 causes of illness. In the spirit of continuing to expand our knowledge base on how to eradicate illness and how to bring healing and alleviate suffering, our lecture tonight is very specific on how to write a letter to the Masters of Universal Medicine, the Temple of Alden. This Temple of Alden is a temple that exists in the 5th dimension of nature. It is found within the higher realm of the astral plane, and it is in this temple where there is a great master who officiates on Fridays and Sundays. These Fridays and Sundays are exactly the Fridays and Sundays that you learned when we were speaking back on our pre-chamber in that lecture on the personality and the planets. So you would remember we have days that correspond to the current day calendar. And we have the real days of the week. And when we say Friday and Sunday, we are speaking about the real day Friday, which happens to be our calendar day Tuesday, and Sunday is our calendar day Wednesday. So this happens on the day of Venus, and this happens on the day of the sun. As you would imagine, that should immediately invite some deep reflection. These practices in this Temple of Alden, they take place on the day where the governing influence is that of Archangel Uriel. Uriel, who is, of course, beyond that angel of love. He is that cosmic force that influences anything that has to do with affinity, with magnetism. And then, on the day of the sun, Archangel Michael. So these are the 2 days. And we can go and participate in this temple on these particular days, and we can receive wisdom directly from the lips of the masters. Samael says, there is a need for the disciple to learn how to unfold in their astral body. And the main reason behind that is so we can get these teachings from real masters, from those great awakened beings. Okay. So when it comes to the practice of the Temple of Alden, you can present yourself in this temple in your astral body, or you can ask your innermost to invoke the Masters of Universal Medicine so that they can take you out in your astral body and that they can bring you into the temple. Let's remember that here in the temple, these great masters will irradiate that astral body of the practitioner with lights of red, blue, and yellow, and that they will do this to destroy any larvae, any parasites, any incubi, any succubi that could be attached to that astral body. And as they are doing this, they also examine the colors of the practitioner. These great masters can see all the shades of color. It is not like us, that some of us, we can only perceive a handful of colors. Some of us, we, for one reason or another, can only perceive some variations of gray, monochromes. And then there are also some of us who can see and perceive the 7 colors of the rainbow. We can maybe see 16, 32 colors. But these great masters, they can perceive a holtampanas. And the ability to perceive a holtampanas means that your centers of perception, your ability to receive these signals of nature empowers you to correctly identify 3.5 million combinations of colors. This is amazing. Certainly, a wonderful faculty. Now, these colors remain within the physical vehicle because of preoccupations or worries, and then we are not just reflecting them out. We're not irradiating, we're not resplendent the way that we should. And as we are consistently stressed, well, not only the emotional stress, the physical stress, the cognitive stress, well, these stressors in the body demand of hormones and tensions and other things that accumulate and consume some energies and leave other energies stagnant. Suddenly, there are flows of communication in the body that become interrupted, and you have spasms here, or you have accumulation of fluids there, and it brings disharmony. So, what these masters will do is that they will irradiate that astral body. And Samael says, when the disciple lacks a full spectrum of colors, they cannot bring back memories into their body from their astral experience. And this is something that we must strive to heal, so that every time that we allow the physical body to sleep and we unfold in our astral body, we're roaming within that bottom part of the fifth dimension. Well, if we see those loved ones who have passed, or we receive symbols of the innermost, or we come across a good teaching, that we can bring it back and that we can make it conscious, that we can integrate it into the consciousness. This is all because within our brain there is a very fine and delicate tissue. Needless to say, our brain, well, in addition to the gray matter and the corpus callosum and the other components that make up structures that make up the brain, well, there is a very delicate tissue in the brain that is an instrument used to carry memories. But it is not to carry memories as if you were storing them in a packet. This is to carry memories and bring them from the astral plane down into your physical body and through your brain access into the memory. And this is something, again, of importance, because after all, we have centers in the body that receive energies from the astral plane. We know that those energies can be too intense, so we have a Buddhic mesh in each one of our chakras that filters only the most subtle energies so that those energies can reach their target plexus. So if this tissue becomes broken, if it becomes tainted, if it is torn, evidently we will not be able to effectively bring those memories from the astral plane into the physical plane. And we can ask the great masters of universal medicine to bring us healing, whether it is to repair that delicate tissue in the brain, or bring healing to an organ, bring healing to our physical body, help us with emotional healing, help us with the elimination of parasites or incubi, succubi, entities that may be seeking to create harm into the body, or that perhaps could have harmed the body before. We can ask the masters of universal medicine to heal not only our physical body, but of course the ethereal body itself, because when the ethereal body heals, the physical body, as an effect, heals as well. So what can we do? Samael Aun in his book titled The Revolution of Bel, he says, write a letter to the temple of Alden asking for the help of any of the aforementioned masters. These masters are Hermes Trismegistus, Paracelsus, Harpocrates, Galen, Angel ADONAI, Archangel RAPHAEL. There are many masters of universal medicine. And we can invoke them, we can write down a letter to them, and we can ask of them for the healing that we need. Samael says, the letter must first be saturated with incense. and then burned on a fire, chanting the mantras Om Tat Sat Om. Tonight we're going to learn how to write a letter to the Temple of Alden. We're going to show you the complete process that you must follow, so that when you are doing this, that you're always doing and asking in accordance to the will of the great law. So as you can see on the screen, you're going to need a sheet of paper, ideally a white sheet of paper, but if you don't have that and all you have is regular loose leaf paper, that will work. You will need a writing instrument, whether it is a fountain pen or a pencil, your choice. You will need frankincense. You will need charcoals so that you can burn that incense on hot embers. You're going to need a brazier so that you can throw those burning charcoals without creating a problem anywhere in your home. And of course, you're going to need a candle. For all of these practices, we always want to have one candle lit. And if you can have 3, even better. 3 because they would be then symbols of those 3 primary forces of nature. As we have these ingredients, we are going to first light our candles. We are going to sit comfortably, relax the body, relax the mind, and we're going to proceed to recite conjurations. These conjurations can be the conjuration of the 4. Most of you have already memorized that. It can be also the conjuration of the 7. Most of you have already memorized that as well. If you don't know the conjuration of the 4, the conjuration of the 7, a Lord's Prayer works remarkably well. You can also recite the mantra, Klim Krishnaya, and that mantra will help clear that immediate space because it immediately manifests the presence of the flaming star. Now that you have done that and you're sitting comfortably and you have relaxed your body and you have relaxed your mind, we're going to trace the magic circle. To trace the circle, we will sing the mantra Elion, Melion, Tetragrammaton. And you're going to turn around and you're going to face east. Facing east with your arms crossed on your chest, always the right arm over the left one. We're going to invoke the innermost. State what is it that you need. Suddenly you find that you don't know what you're going to ask for. Ask your innermost to bring back that deep state of relaxation and embrace the principle of spontaneity. Your innermost will communicate instantaneously what is the one thing that you would benefit from in terms of healing. So state that. As you have stated that, grab your writing utensil and write down your letter. And write your letter the same way that you would write a formal letter to any dignitary. State from who it's coming from, where is it going. It's to the masters of universal medicine at the Temple of Alden. You say, beloved Archangel RAPHAEL, or beloved Master Hermes Trismegistus, or Great Master Angel ADONAI. Any one of the great masters, or all of them. And you can state exactly what is it that you need in that letter. Once you have written this letter, you're going to cross your arms on your chest once again, and you will ask of your innermost to present itself at the doors of the temple of our divine Mother Nature. This temple is a sacred sphinx in Egypt. And you will ask your innermost to do the necessary salutations at the door of the temple. By now you know very well that the words of pass must be uttered. Jacquin to the right, Boaz to the left. You will ask the innermost to take the 7 sacred steps towards the inside of the temple and to prostrate before the majesty, the beauty of our Divine Mother. Once there, we will ask the Divine Mother for her grace, for her contributions so that she would allow us to work with our elemental advocate. Remember that the elemental advocate is that aspect of the innermost who is an expert, who has all of the mastery and all of these kingdoms of nature, and he knows all the mantras, all the salutations, all of the rituals to work with all of the elementals. As we receive the grace to work with the elemental advocate, we will command the elemental advocate to work, always in the name of the Christ, by the power of Christ, by the love of Christ, by the majesty of Christ. We're going to ask our elemental advocate to work with the elemental of the frankincense. And we work with frankincense because the elemental of frankincense is phenomenal in its power to help prepare the environment for natural magic. It helps prepare the environment so that masters can materialize in the physical plane. So we work with the elemental advocate to command the elemental of frankincense to perfume this letter that we're going to be sending and to help deliver the astral aspect of this letter to the hands of the masters of universal medicine. As we do this, we command the elemental to work. We say, elemental of the frankincense, we're here to command you to work in the name of the Christ, by the power of Christ, by the love of Christ. Imprint your essence on this letter. Perfume this letter with your aroma and deliver the astral aspect of this letter to the hands of the masters of universal medicine in the temple of Alden. And as you command the elemental, you sing the mantra alumino. Notice we're not saying aluminio or aluminum in Spanish. No. Alumino. And as you are singing that mantra, that frankincense is burning on those hot embers, and you are perfuming that letter very delicately, impregnating that letter with frankincense. That moment, now that that letter is ready, you kneel and you pray and you beg the masters of universal medicine for their intervention. You invoke of their presence, you ask for the help that you need, and you take that letter and you burn it. When you burn the letter, remember that we are bound by the law of accidents. Here we see accidents because of our many indiscretions. So if you're burning this letter inside your home, please, 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 do so in a place where you do not put yourself at risk, where you do not put your home at risk or your children, your loved ones at risk. Good idea would be perhaps to burn it outside. If you have a metal can inside your home and you don't have any other combustibles inside the metal can, well, you can burn that letter and allow it to burn completely inside that metal can. But as you grab that letter and you're burning it, you will sing the mantra Om Tat Sat Om. That mantra sounds Om Tat Sat Om. And you can repeat that mantra 3 times. It's a beautiful thing. Sing that mantra for 3 times, and the letter's still burning. Continue to sing it until that letter has been completely consumed by the flames. Once that letter has been delivered, give infinite thanks. Thanks to the masters of universal medicine. Give thanks to the elemental of the frankincense for contributing with their help. Give thanks to the elemental advocate for exercising the practice, a practice that has been done perfect within the astral plane. Thank the Divine Mother for her grace, allowing us to work with our elemental intercessor. And of course, thank your innermost, your being, because all things should be done through and in accordance to our Father who is in secret. And once the work has been completed, trace the sign of the cross in the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. Remember that the tracing the sign of the cross is from the forehead to the heart, not from the forehead to the sexual organs. From the forehead to the heart, left shoulder and right shoulder. Some people may say, oh, blasphemy, that cross is upside down. It is a symbol of the cross. Let's not forget that Apostle Peter was also crucified upside down. And Peter is the great master, teacher of the great work. So there is here no insult to the cross. There is here no tainting of any sacred symbol. So from the forehead to the heart, left shoulder and right shoulder. Then we trace the microcosmic star. Remember that to trace the microcosmic star, we will stand up. We will extend our arms to the side, and standing, we will open our legs, creating the shape of a 5-pointed star. We will bring our arms to the top of our head and allow our hands to touch each other, and gently descend those hands to our shoulders, touch them, and extend the hands once again. Once we have done this, we allow the arms to gently flow downward, and as they come up, the right one over the left, and we bring our legs together. That's how we do the microcosmic star. So sign of the cross, microcosmic star. And as we do that, we trace the circle. We start in our forehead, onto our left shoulder, our solar plexus or our heart, right shoulder, back into our forehead. You can trace it to the right, you can trace it to the left. It does not matter. It is a circle. Samael clarifies this to eliminate any ambiguity. And once we have done the sign of the cross, the microcosmic star, and the circle by saying in the name of the Holy Tetragrammaton, we will use our index finger and trace the rune Sig, just as we learned in our seminar of the magic of the runes, to seal every work of magic with the rune Sig, tracing the shape of the lightning and the letter S. That is how we do the practice. So for tonight, take advantage of this practice. Go get your candles, sit comfortably and relax your body, invoke your innermost, ask for guidance. Sing the mantra Klim Krishnaya. Clear that space and seal yourself in that space with the mantra Helium, Melium, Tetragrammaton. And once you have enclosed yourself in that circle, face east, invoke your innermost, ask for the help that you need, write that letter, ask your Divine Mother for the help, work with the elemental of the frankincense, burn the frankincense, perfume the letter, kneel and beg for your petition to emanate from the depth of your heart and be received at the temple of Alden, and burn that letter. Om Tat Sat. Om. Give thanks and seal the work. Sign of the cross, microcosmic star, trace the circle, rune Sig. And that's it. This is the way that you send a letter to the temple of Alden. For those of you who have been watching, I will invite you to take a screenshot of this information if it so serves your purpose. For those of you who are listening to this recorded lecture, maybe you are perfectly welcome to pause the video and just follow these instructions. Trust your inner guidance, but remain within the guideline that we are providing you so that you're always just being rigorous, asking of your innermost to intervene. And every time you finish this work, of course, ask that everything is done according to the great law, according to the will of the Father, according to the universal charity, and never our inferior will. So, dear friends, this is how we send a letter to the Temple of Alden. Thank you, everyone, for joining us this evening, and may all beings be happy.